Hello, it is August 11, 2016, and I just want to take you through this brief weather update that we're going to have here. We're going to be talking about this weather because we have some unusual air in the area, high dew points, and thunderstorms, and quite a few impressive thunderstorms. This is pretty much Florida weather that we're experiencing. So, once again, climate change is upon us, whether you agree with it or not, and I honestly think that this situation is only going to get worse. The humidity is going to get worse, and I honestly think that we need to be, I think it's a win-win situation. If we go in, we start having projects to cool the planet down, it's going to provide jobs, it's going to be good for the economy, and it's going to protect our butts when it comes to the increasing threat of hurricanes, and then just increase the risk for more hurricanes this year because the ocean is warmer than they thought it would be. Once again. So let's now take a look at the weather.
Okay, so we're going to start off first with some of the current conditions outside to the closest observation station here in Nassau County, and that is Farmingdale Public Airport. And if you take a look, you'll see that the dew point is very high. A dew point of 77 is extremely high and almost reaching record territory for our area. Now, when I was younger, generally dew points would reach maybe the low 70s. The dew point up into the upper 70s is absolutely insane. And so we're going to look here at Farmingdale, the past observations at Farmingdale. And you'll see, unfortunately, we'll just move this over, that there hasn't really been any rain at all in Farmingdale. The rain has pretty much fallen apart by the time it's gotten to Suffolk County, with the exception yesterday that there was a tornado out in I think, Mattituck. So a very weak tornado, but I'll highlight that too. So it hit 92 in Farmingdale today, and you may think that's pretty bad. But this is why you don't want to be living in New Jersey. If we go ahead and we look at the observation from Miller Airport, which was by Toms River, you already see that it's warmer there. It's 85 degrees. The dew point are at 75. It's still just it feels just as uncomfortable. It feels like 93 degrees. All right. But if we go ahead and we take a look at some of the past observations here, and you'll see that Toms River hit 96 degrees here. 96 degrees, highlighting that right there in Toms River today. And this doesn't record the heat index, but can you imagine 96 degrees with a dew point of 76 right here? 96 with a dew point of 76. That's insane. Look at these dew. This is insane. Look at this. You know what, I'm going to make this a little smaller so you can get a better view. Alright, so hopefully you can see this a little better. Just want to make sure you can see this. This is insane. This afternoon in Toms River, 96 degrees, dew point is 76 degrees, and look at this, dew point 77. Look, the dew point even hit 78 right around noon. That is unbelievably humid for this area, and unbelievably humid for Toms River. And couple that up with the heat, and that's really just unbelievably bad. So once again, we look at Farmingdale, and it wasn't as bad. The dew points were still high, but at least the temperatures didn't go quite as high. I want to look at some other observations. Long Island's other observation station is Islip, so it looks like it hit 91 at Islip. And again, these dew points quite insane. And again, no rain to speak of. Well, it would be in the right column off to the right, but there's no rain out there. They didn't really get anything, once again. West Hampton, it hit 87 there at West Hampton. So West Hampton's a cool spot. Certainly better than a lot of other areas. But they got no rain today again. The Pine Barrens missing out on all the rain. It just seems like it falls apart when it hits the Pine Barrens. And I just want to look at one more observation from New Jersey. Let's look at Monmouth County. All right. It's 86 right now at Belmar, Farmingdale. Hit 94 there. And again, quite uncomfortable air. No matter where you are, I mean, there's no place that's going to be comfortable, but certainly New Jersey has got to be. That's part of the reason why I really don't want to wind up having to live in New Jersey, because it's too hot. I actually like Long Island's climate, and I'll show you why. So we're going to go ahead and look at the radar here. I'm not reviewing any of the New York City observations because they're talked about ad nauseum on the news. We like to talk about areas outside the city. So this is the current radar. Let me put it in the motion. And you'll see what happened here. There were a bunch of heavy thunderstorms that hit the north shore of Nassau County and southern Connecticut, now moving into Connecticut, And so this one had a warning out for it. New Jersey's missed out on the thunderstorms for the most part. Now, they have gotten hit hard in the past, earlier this summer, but now it seems like thunderstorms are developing over us, which is good because we need the rain desperately. But unfortunately, once they hit the Pine Barrens, it's like rain is afraid of the Pine Barrens, and it does not hit the Pine Barrens. Yesterday, there was a bad cell that hit the Forks with a tornado. Hit the Forks, but it still didn't hit the Pine Barrens. So again, it's like rain is afraid of the Pine Barrens. So there's a reason why I like the climate on Long Island. I'll explain to you briefly why Long Island has a much better climate than this area here in New Jersey. It's mainly because in the summer, when the winds are from the southwest and we have these hot air masses, that air does not go over any ocean to cool it off over New Jersey. It's hot, and you get all the heat. It could be 96 there. Meanwhile, it goes over the ocean, particularly in the earlier part of summer. It really makes Long Island a lot cooler. It could be 75 to 80 on Long Island, while it's 88 or 89 or even 90 in Toms River. So that's part of the reason why it's always cooler on Long Island. Long Island is a better climate. It's not just that it's further north. It's also because of the trajectory of the wind always usually goes over the cooler ocean. However, as we now approach August, the ocean temperatures offshore are extremely warm, and so I want to look at that now. So this is a list of local buoy observations here, and let's take a look at some of the offshore water temperatures. Let's take a look at this one that's 20 nautical miles south of Fire Island Inlet. Alright, so here we are south of Fire Island Inlet, 20 nautical miles. The air temperature is 79, and look at the water temperature. I'll highlight it for you. 77.4 degrees. The water is never supposed to get this warm offshore, off our waters. All right, this is abnormal, and it keeps happening every summer. Another sign of climate change. I'm going to look at some more buoys now. So this is the one that's 20 nautical miles, let's see, 23 nautical miles south-southwest of Montauk Point. Water temperature is a little cooler here as you head east, 73.6 degrees. That's the water temperature there. And again, the dew point shows you here, the dew point, very uncomfortable. You're not really going to get that much relief at the beach. However, it's still better than being in New Jersey where there's absolutely no cooling effect at all. So I want to look at a few more here if we can get some more. I'm curious. They used to have a map. Let's see if we can get a summary. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is good. This will give you a summary of all the buoys here and the sea temperatures. And you'll see that the warmer temperatures here, you see where the warmer temperatures are. Some of these don't work. A lot of these don't work properly. Let's see. Of course, a lot of these don't work, and it's a shame because we really need these observations. And the thing is that, oh, here we go. Here's one from New Jersey. Be glad you're not in New Jersey because the ocean temperatures off the Jersey shore are in the low 80s. That's insane. That's insane right there. All right. So if you think it's bad here, once again, New Jersey is much worse when it comes to the summer heat. And if you're not a fan of the heat like I am, it's not really a place for you. Here we go. Look at some of these. Look at these. Mid-Atlantic and Southeast coast. Look at these water temperatures. That's unheard of. That is unheard of. So the last thing that I want to look at is this chart from the National Hurricane Center here, which shows you the. Actually, this isn't the last thing I want to look at, but see this. You can see how far above normal the water temperatures are all over the place. And this is very bad for hurricanes and tropical storms. And this is why I think that we're going to be seeing more Sandy type events and events that probably will be worse than Sandy, as I talked about in my other video when I showed you all the flood maps. This is the anomaly here. So you're talking 2 to 3 degrees Celsius above average on the ocean temperatures. All right. So the last thing that I want to bring up to you here, I'm going to look at the satellite. Alright, so as we look at this satellite image, you'll see here that we have a ridge offshore in the Atlantic. This is becoming a problem every summer. And this keeps the heat and the humidity and the storms over the east, and these cold fronts just wind up getting stuck over here. And the weather is stuck. It's because of this anomalous ridge offshore that's becoming a problem year-round. It is a symptom of climate change, global warming, called stall front syndrome, whatever you want. But this is not normal. This is not a normal weather pattern that you see here. And this is something we need to change. And if we go ahead and look at some of the computer models, which now I'll look at that. Alright, if we look at some of the computer models, you'll see that this ridge doesn't go anywhere. This is the GFS 10-day. Unfortunately, we are stuck. As you'll see, you can see that big red area off the coast. That's the Atlantic Ridge. And that, unfortunately, is stuck there. It's not moving. And you see these fronts try to make it through, but they keep getting hung up when they hit this ridge that's sitting there. It's a block in the atmosphere, basically. That's not something that's supposed to be happening. I'm going to take a look at the Euro now. And you see the same thing. This block. This abnormal block in the atmosphere. This is not something that should be happening every summer. Yes, it gets hot in the summer. We've had heat waves when I was younger, but they don't. We always got cold fronts that brought relief. Now we aren't getting those cold fronts anymore. And this is what we're getting. We're getting this Atlantic Ridge. And the oceans have to be cooled off somehow. They have to be cooled off. So I'll leave you with the satellite image here of our area. This is not a normal weather pattern we're experiencing. And climate change, global warming is very real. Obviously, people have different approaches to it, and I personally think that while we need to, it doesn't matter whether it's Democrat or Republican. They don't take this problem seriously. But I do think that now is the time. We do need to cut back on our greenhouse gas emissions, but we also need to actively mitigate climate change by building big geo projects to start cooling the planet down. And carbon sequestration, so when we do burn our fossil fuels, the carbon is trapped and it doesn't get into the air. And the other thing, of course, the wild card in all this is as the oceans warm up, methane will be released, and that is a much bigger greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. So that methane should be captured and used as natural gas. That's better than letting it escape into the atmosphere. So I want to thank you for watching this weather update. Stay cool. The heat and the humidity roll on for an unforeseen amount of future here in the Northeast.